Choo 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 choo. And we're off. It is Monday, September 11th, 2023 AD. Everybody loves Mondays. And what are you supposed to say on September 11th, 2023 AD? It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. I'm too prepared today, which probably means I'm not quite prepared, honestly. Should have a fun show, though, hopefully. A packed show, anyway. I have calls to get to. I will get to your calls. Super chats to get to. I will get to your super chats. Evil government shenanigans in California. You know, subverting real parents from evil parents. By real parents, I mean parents who are doing their duty, their true duty, not some bald black woman's idea of their duty to affirm the children. Have some chats, Hake chats to acknowledge. Thank you, guys. Very cool. I got to get my Obama workout in. I have a nice little throwback thing. From the Russia-Ukraine days, by the way. Oh, those are today again, because it's the Obama administration all over again. Am I right? It is 9/11. I will, almost as significant as January 6th, by the way. Almost. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to say never forget. You're not supposed to say happy September 11th or whatever. We are always respectful of the dead and survivors. Elon Musk, they're going after Elon Musk, Jake Tapper especially, because he didn't want war crimes or something like that. And so he's like, I'm not going to give my free stuff to Ukraine for this part. So, I don't know. And the ADL is going after Elon Musk. Not Christians. Jake Tapper also not a Christian. And some other things. You know, that based... I use the term very loosely. I don't even know. Luis Rubiales. He has resigned on Piers Morgan's show. What? Makes me want to spit. He's the Spanish Soccer Federation president. Do they even call it soccer? They probably call it football in Spain. He did that kiss of that gal. I covered it weeks ago. And now, after fierce criticism from a supposedly unwanted kiss of that tattooed gal, he helped bring the team to winning. And so did the coach, by the way. I think. The head coach. He got fired. And he's the one who brought them... No good deed goes unpunished. He was the one who brought them to be winning of the World Cup, and he got fired. Because of sexism or something like that. Yeah, right. What a mess. So, hopefully all that. Hopefully I get to that. If not, hopefully this week I'll get to it. And your calls, like I said. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing just a plain old pocket tee. Won't tell you where I got it. It's sort of faded dark gray. Bought it like that. Nice. With a pocket in it. Like I said, pocket tee. So I steer clear of Artie Art and his art wisers, because he may playfully act like he's going to rip the pocket out if we were in high school together. Nice. Shout out to Artie Art. He's a caller from Ohio. Not to be confused with maize. Oh, let me just make sure that we are live on Odyssey and that it is audio. Nice. Sweet. I think that means that it was working. Oh, terrible. Hold on. I just like to make sure that it's working. Boom. Boom. Okay. Okay. Let's dive right into this thing, shall we? Parents' duty. Affirm children. This is gross. So I hope not to spend too much time on this. Gross, evil California Assembly. I have a couple of screenshots of tweets. Lori Wilson, parents affirm children, something like that. There was this tweet from Greg_Price11. He is a journalist guy. A solid guy, seemingly. He puts out interesting stuff. He might even be somewhat conservative and decent, right? Breaking! This was Friday or Saturday, I think. The California Assembly, a state assembly, just voted in favor of AB, Assembly Bill 957, which will require judges take into account whether a parent, quote unquote, affirms a child's, quote, gender identity or gender expression, unquote. More like gender misidentity, right? In determining custody. This is in the case of divorce, where the father and mother are not living together, not just divorce, but where they were never married. And who gets the child? Used to be the father, according to JLP, who always tells the truth. Which is different from facts. Truth is different from facts. Terrible, huh? Okay, so, that guy from Texas, I think, the father of James, what's his name, Younger? Something Younger? He's always tweeting on Twitter different incidences of black crime saying, notice a pattern? That guy who spoke at the men's conference back in Orlando when was that? 2021, something like that? I guess. Wow. Was it 2021? I guess if he were in California, the stepmother is not even the real mother, who's undermining that little boy, James, to be Jamie or whatever. Jamie could be a man's name too, I think. He would not get his son. I guess he's not getting it in Texas either, though, right? The state Senate, California State Senate, already approved this bill in California, state of California. So it's heading to Gavin Newsom's desk. That's the governor, the beta governor, right? Looks like a Chad, thinks and speaks like a beta, right? Maybe not everybody thinks he looks like a Chad. He looks like that American Psycho guy, too. But older. And then he tweets out this second tweet with a video attached. This is California State Representative Lori Wilson, Lori Wilson. Black. She black. Bald-headed, too. She's following is that full-blown bald? That's the new look for these black gals now. She doesn't even wear it as well as that alopecia gal whom I also bash for wearing the bald head. Talk to Dr. Singh. You can get your alopecia fixed. I knew a young man who had alopecia. It's like patchy bald spots. And he fixed his alopecia with like diet or maybe herbs or something, or both. Maybe I should disavow that for medical misinformation, but he did fix his alopecia. And then when he would misbehave eating-wise maybe sometimes, the alopecia would come back like little patchy bald spots in weird places on his head. So this woman wrote AB 957. This black gal wrote it. Parents affirm their children. Typically, that happens when their gender identity matches their biological gender. This is a fake thing, right? Obviously. That's gender. But when it doesn't, meaning their gender misidentity, confusion, dysphoria, the affirmation starts to wane. Our duty as parents is to affirm our children, she says. So a little 45-second clip of her saying that. Check it out. Oh, clip 50, what is this? No, clip 11, right? Clip 11. Here it is, I think.
Know that parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn of time. Typically, it happens when their gender identity expression matches their biological gender. But what happens is when it doesn't, that's when the affirmation starts to wane. And that's what we're dealing with here. Although it's called the TGI bill, they're not mentioned anywhere in the law. What's mentioned in the law is the child's gender identity and expression and the parent's affirmation of that, whatever it is, because that is our duty as parents to affirm our children.
What a psycho. TGI bill, I don't know what that means. And she's a little heavyset. I don't know if she's even a mother. So what is she talking about? Maybe she is. Affirm our children. Born July 17th. Hey, that's my birthday, 1976. She's an American politician elected to the California State Assembly. Democrat, elected 11th District, Solano County, Contra Costa County. That's Antioch, Oakley. Previously, she was the mayor of Suisun City in Solano County. About 30,000 people there. So it's like a little, I heard that out there, Temple City is about 30,000 people. So it's a little suburb town, I guess. Psycho woman. Oh, I have a picture of her. Lori Wilson. And in this picture, she has her hair all... She actually has hair, I think. Or is that a weave? All pulled back, all tight. Maybe that's what gives them the alopecia. I don't know. Wrinkle Hands Bing Bong is all over the place. She's fat. Hake, not heavy set. Yeah, I know. Yes. That's what that means. Heavy set, doesn't that mean fat? Shout out to the fat people. Okay, so JLP quote tweeted this and wrote, a father's duty is not to affirm his children, but to protect his children from the mother. The evil in the mother, right? And guide them in the right way, both. A mother should obey her husband, carry out his orders, and report back to him, not undermine him, as mothers so frequently are, or beta husbands go along with what she wants to do in the child. Fathers, check on your children when you're at home. Terrible, huh? So that's pretty sick, right? Yeah. Okay, moving on. I want to acknowledge the chat from last week. The chat last week, or maybe it was, I don't know what it was, when it was. I complained about broken chips. Did I? Yes. I complained about broken chips last week, and the low quality that we have, low quality of transporters. And shout out to the truckers. Some of you guys are solid people. And packers and shelvers, shipping and handlers, shippers and handlers, and manufacturers, companies, so-called workers or union employees who are not workers. They pretend to work, or they try to get out of work, or they try to get paid more than what their work is worth. Shout out to the unions. Well, I don't have to just sit around and complain about broken chips. There's two solutions to the broken chip problem. You know, people like throw the bag on the shelf and it breaks some chips, and then they throw it around and it breaks some more, and then they stuff them too tight. And I don't know. Yes, I do take calls. I do indeed take calls. The first solution, don't buy chips in the first place. Do not buy chips in the first place. No one needs chips. At least I don't think I do. But the other solution, somebody in the chat said it. Somebody's all, Hake doesn't know to shake the bag? Oh, you can shake the bag and probably hear if it sounds like there are bits, too many little bits shaking in the bag, rustling around inside the bag. If it, you know, you can tell if you have good ears, the quality of the contents of the bag without breaking extra things in the bag. So, nice. Duh. Man, that's brilliant. Hake is chat educated, meaning I'm becoming more educated by reading you guys' chats. Red Dirt Farm says, Hake, soft hands. Shameful. I'll get you next time, Red Dirt Farm. I'll get you next time, Red Dirt Farm. So, yes, thank you. I appreciate that brilliance. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Speaking of health and fitness, Obama, this is an old news clip 13. Clip 13. President Obama, I need to do my workouts. Speaking of soft hands, I need to do my little Obama workouts. 30 minutes, lightweights, P90X style, looking ridiculous. Here's Obama 2014 in Warsaw. Where's that, Germany? According to Fox 5 New York, President Obama working out. Local news a little more real and awkward. So here it is.
Okay, did you see this video? President Obama working out in a gym. Not a big deal, but kind of a big deal. We don't really get to see this. And apparently the video was taken, Rosanna, a little bit on the sly, surreptitiously.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. This happened at a hotel in Poland, by the way. The video shows the president lifting weights at the hotel gym in Warsaw. It was shot and posted on Facebook by someone else in the gym.
Check him out. There he goes. Good for him.
Secret Service insists that the president was never in any jeopardy. No kidding. He looks like he's oblivious. He's in the zone. He's working out.
30-minute. He did a 30-minute workout, by the way. Wasn't there for 90 minutes, but got a quick workout in. Very impressive form. He did a little P90X routine. That one thing with the weights, it looks a little P90X-ish to me.
And so when you do P90X, what kind of
weights? It was that one thing. You want to see it one more time?
What kind of weights do you use?
When he was walking around, I know what you're trying to say. His weights are too light or something like that, right?
I think I use heavier weights.
Oh, come on. What are they? They could be... You know what? It's not really about
It looks like
weights.
a 10 or 15.
What they'll tell you, if you want to get ripped...
Yeah. It's repetition?
It's repetition, not strength, not, bulk. Lighter weights, more reps. If you want to get big, you just do heavier weights, fewer reps.
The president looks like he's got some beats on, too, at one point, right? He looked like he was, kind of bopping to the music.
Yeah, he's wearing his headset. And now we're all looking at it.
Looks like 8-pounders. Yeah, with his little 3-pound weights. 5-pound weights. How embarrassing. You know what else is embarrassing? Warsaw is not in Germany. And I figured out to look because Kevin Howe is like, Warsaw, Germany, SMH, facepalm emoji. And so I looked it up. It's in Poland. Funny. Lord Spike Protein says 100-pound curl max. Wow, with 2 hands or 1 hand? 12 pounds. Beta male. Oh, come on. 12 pounds, not that bad. He just wants to be toned, says E12 Daniel. Pretty funny, pretty funny. I have another clip of Obama working out, but maybe I'll get to it later. One from a little more national news source, ABC, but it's kind of actually interesting because it gives you a little bit more of the context going on. He was in Warsaw. Warsaw is in Poland. Isn't Warsaw like the precursor or the? Or isn't it a nice band? Wasn't it a good band? I think. He has zero musculature, says Alex Watts. Whatever, man. I got to do my Obama baby steps. Yeah, it's from 9 years ago, 2014. Anyway, nice. Before I get into 9/11, 2001, let me get to David in Ocala, Florida. David, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Hake. How you doing today?
Doing fine. How are you?
Well, I was calling you because I wanted to talk about something, but I think it might be too, I think you sort of know what it is. Is it too hardcore for the channel? Is it,
It's kind of a mess. I already actually commented about it that I haven't really watched it, and it's just mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, how about I wanted to clarify something that was brought up the other day about your Patriot that's on your computer.
Oh, yeah, this Patriot right here, this Continental Soldier. What is it?
Yeah,
Continental
that's
Soldier
not
of the
an idol.
Revolution.
Yeah, that's not an idol, okay, like your caller called about.
Yeah.
An idol is like Buddha, okay?
Buddha is an idol?
Oh, sure he is. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They worship him? Or is it just the fact that he's a graven image?
A graven image, and they worship him.
So
but it's mainly a graven image, and they attract demons and demonic forces. Don't bring one into your house is what I'm telling you. Okay.
Graven means engraved on a surface, but he's more carved. He's a sculpture, not just a relief sculpture, but.
Yeah, but he's false. Okay, he's not. He's not true. Some things you just don't mess with.
But he's not meant to be a god, is he?
Well, yeah, they seek him instead of seeking the one true God. So, anything that you seek besides, Jesus is an idol. Okay.
Yeah.
Is false. Right. And then there's just certain things you just don't do. Like, there's people that have gone through lots of problems by bringing, like, African masks into their house. Okay, there's just a lot of things that bring on certain stuff,
What about the statue of David by Leonardo? I almost said DiCaprio.
Yeah, I'd say stay away from all that
or Michelangelo or guys like that. But what's the difference with this, though? This is like a drawing.
Yeah, but you're not worshiping it. You're saying, hey, this guy was a patriot. You know what I'm saying? That's sort of like George Washington on the dollar bill. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not a true idol, is what I'm saying. He was trying to make you look like you were worshiping something by having that sticker on your computer. And that's just not right, man.
Right.
Also, I talk about a lot of things. But I know I'm a sinner, okay? You got what I'm saying? I know I was messed up, buddy, And you got people that call your show, and in the world, too, they do this all the time. They want to point at somebody else instead of looking at themselves. That's what makes them feel good about themselves, because then they don't have to look at themselves, okay? And realize that they're a sinner, okay? The Word of God says, and they don't fear God. See, this new thing came out years ago. God is love. God is this. God is that. The Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And until you actually fear God, you're not going to really get to know him. Okay, so I wanted to bring that up, too, because you have a lot of people that call up
What does that mean, to fear him?
Well, have reverence for him, to realize that, hey, man, he could take me out if he wanted to. How's that? Okay, he can do whatever. He's almighty. Okay, there's no one like him. Okay, there'll never be anyone like him. And so you realize that you realize that you need to bow to him. Okay, and give him his due. Because he created the world, he created you, he created me, the trees, the birds, everything, all that kind of stuff like that. So, he's just almighty. So when you have people call up that want to always talk about the blacks, they wouldn't let us read books and all that kind of stuff. See, all the pointing your finger at all that other kind of stuff, you can't see that you'll never find the truth if you're always looking, for something else to excuse your sin. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. When you're pointing out other people's wrongs, you're not necessarily looking at yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. Like, for
but
example...
But isn't that what's the difference between you pointing out all these people who are blind and them pointing out the slave owners didn't, or the laws prevented slaves from learning to read?
Well, because that was true what happened, but that doesn't justify them still not coming to Christ or coming to God or reading their Bible and seeking Him, And I told you before, man, I did drugs. I did a lot of bad things.
But yeah, but a lot of people did drugs and stopped. A lot of people did drugs and stopped, but they're atheists.
I understand that. You're right. But it says, "Forgive us much,
so that's
love
kind
us
of
much."
So the drugs thing is sort of irrelevant.
I understand.
Not that it's good to take. It's good to stop it, right? It's good for you physically. Stop it, and I'll say it right to the camera. Stop it, like Trump said. But
right, like Trump did.
But that's not evidence of repentance.
Well, yeah. Well, repentance is to turn from sin. And that's what I did. And if you,
but what's sin?
Oh, many things.
Does sin still have you?
Huh?
Does sin still have you?
Not like it had me before. I mean,
so it has you a little bit, but not like before.
Well, I mean, I might cuss or something like that. I get, accidentally, say the F word or something like that. But I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not rolling around.
Don't admit that. Don't admit that on national TV, radio.
Well, I didn't say it, did I?
No, but is cussing sin? I don't know. If it's good not to cuss. It's good to have control of the tongue and all that, and be aware and alert, and not have a loose tongue and be slipping out cuss words in contexts in which it's not appropriate. Of course.
Right.
But I don't think it makes it a sin to cuss. Maybe it's evidence of sin.
Well, some you're right, but here, the last thing I want to say too is some people that call your show,
easy, Hake.
They just won't admit that the blacks are only 13% of the population, and they commit 50% of the crime.
I disavow. That's a white supremacist symbol
whatever.
To say that.
Well,
whatever.
How about the lady that got attacked by 4 guys in her yard the other day and hit in the head with a gun, and and she wanted to defund the police up there in Minnesota, and she's like, find these guys and prosecute them.
I'm covering my ears.
Yeah.
So, she wants them prosecuted. Huh? She's that Indian girl. She was was she Indian?
Yeah,
something like that. She's mildly attractive.
Right.
That was on the JLP show. He covered it today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that. Yeah.
I feel like Anchor Baby or somebody covered it as well.
Okay.
Like last week.
Well, I didn't mean to step on their toes.
No, you're
like
fine.
That,
I'm just bringing it up so that people are aware. Because I don't have that for you guys today on my show. But I don't mind. I do not mind that you brought that up. That's totally cool.
Are you talking about 9/11 today because of the anniversary?
Yeah, I am going to touch on it. I don't plan to spend the whole time on it, but I do plan to reminisce.
What do you think? Do you believe the narrative that was given on that by the news media?
Of course.
Oh, you do? Okay. For your channel?
Oh, well, yeah, a little bit. I mean, what's funny is I don't really know and I don't really care. But I do know that I did see part of a what is that?
Documentary or something?
Yeah, on the parallel between Pearl Harbor and 9/11. I saw part of it on Rumble, and I was talking with Sean actually about it. It's like a 4-hour documentary type of thing, and it was quite interesting. I didn't know all that stuff about Pearl Harbor. And it was shared on Asmodor's Telegram maybe a year ago after 9/11 last year. And so I was watching like 40 minutes of it. And it was pretty crazy how they kind of let Pearl Harbor happen, seemingly. So,
and they sort of let 9/11 happen, too.
Allegedly. So, yeah. I mean, what can you do? I don't know. But, yeah.
It just shows you how messed up those people are. Like we talked before, they're not who they say they are. It's like Obama's not who he says he is. You get it? And until these people wake up, man, it's not going to change. I mean, look at who we have. Wake up and realize what the truth is. What's going on?
I don't see that as necessarily even waking up.
Well, you're probably right, because it isn't going to change. They're not going to change their mind because
look
they
at
believe
the
narrative.
There's a whole lot of blind, asleep conspiracy theorists, so-called, who know the truth about things, because there are true things that the conspiracy theorists know, but they're not awake.
Well, here, how about this?
Yeah.
That little bit of footage they showed you of the plane flying into the Pentagon.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, how much, come on, man. That's all they got. I mean, give me a break, okay? And how do you fit a 157-foot wingspan through an 18-foot hole, and there's no plane parts everywhere, okay?
I saw parts. I saw. Oh, so you're talking about the Pentagon thing?
Yeah,
I
that
listened
one there.
to somebody who said that they were actually looking at a different hole, because there was actually a much bigger hole, and there was debris everywhere. So this is partly what I mean too, is that you guys believe stuff that's not even true.
Well, I just have a hard time believing that they fell straight down. The buildings fell straight down like that and didn't fall over, and that's my personal opinion about it.
Right,
okay?
but you've never seen you've never seen a demolition of a building before?
Yeah, I have. That's what I'm saying. That's what it looked like.
But what's the difference between what's the difference between the stuff coming down and after? Why would it topple sideways? What makes you think
I don't
it would
know
topple
if it would
sideways?
topple sideways. It just looks very suspicious to me. That's all. And
but suspicious because you've never seen it before.
Well, just the whole thing. I'm just trying to be careful where I don't say something on your show to get you in trouble. You got what I'm saying?
Right, but you're not.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're saying stuff.
I'm sort of got to dance around somewhat. I mean, I don't want to.
But I get what you're saying. But it looked quite believable to me, knowing physics and all that stuff.
Okay, all right. Well, they didn't. They never found no weapons of mass destruction over there either, did they? I can't stand the Bushes, by the way. I'm a registered Republican. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't like neither one of them.
I don't blame the Bushes I don't necessarily blame the Bush for the supposed lie about WMDs, because that was the whole deep state that was saying that.
Okay.
Wasn't it the deep state saying that? The so-called intelligence communities?
Well, no, they actually got up there and said that there was. That's why they were going over there.
Right. See, so they were the ones lying, allegedly.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But okay, I got you. All right, well, listen, I know you got to move on, buddy. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you, man.
Have a great day, man. All right. All right, take care.
You as well. Bye. There's a reference to the sin by spoiler alert, whoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law. Is cussing transgression of the law? 1 John 3 and 4. Nice. And also in Romans, it talks about the sin living in me does the things that I don't want to do. So it's said in different ways. Isn't that interesting? So some people take the sin is transgression of the law. Which law? The 10 Commandments, or the ones with all of those different laws mentioned in Deuteronomy. Which law? I don't know. I'm confused by it. Okay. It's 9/11. Almost as significant as January 6th. And I kind of mean that honestly, because the attack on those Americans over the January 6th thing, the persecution of the Americans, the persecution of the misguided patriots, so-called misguided patriots. Some of them were probably misguided, right? Yeah. Is maybe more shocking and more evil than than this thing that killed 3,000 Americans, allegedly. Or something, plus or minus 3,000. CNN reported today, on this day, 22 years ago, 4 planes hijacked by terrorists crashed into the World Trade Center, which was those 2 towers, right? The Spider-Man, the Spider-Man with that guy who, he caught a helicopter in his Spidey Spider-Man web in between the 2 towers in the previews, but then they took that away from the movie because 9/11 happened in between. Terrible. And that was a great scene. I remember seeing it in the movie theater. The Pentagon also was hit by a plane, and there was a plane that also crashed into the field in Pennsylvania, PA. That's with the guys who said, "Let's roll," and they stopped it, because that was going for the White House, I guess. Killing nearly 3,000 people in a matter of hours. Many people will pause today to honor the victims in their imaginations, right? Are they truly honoring them? I don't know. Of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. Not to mention what about the 4 Americans who died in 9/11 2012 under the Obama-Hillary administration and Biden? Reflect on the permanent emotional toll that the tragedy inflicted on the nation. Why are you calling it permanent, Commie Nonsense Network? Emotions are never permanent. A total of 2,753 people reported missing in the lower Manhattan after the attacks on the World Trade Center. I remember that. I remember the first one went in. My dad brought me into the office. I was about to go for a little bike ride, get some exercise in. I was in college, cross country, 2-a-day workouts, you know. It's like 7 in the morning, plus or minus. And then I'm like, and then we saw the other plane go in. I'm like, oh, that seems like that's on purpose. To this day, 40% of the victims, 1,100 people, thought to have died in the disaster remain unidentified. Wow. Or the bodies were not identified or found. New York City officials just last week identified 2 new victims through DNA testing. And the work is ongoing to identify the others as their so-called loved ones continue to grieve. They're still grieving to this day? Are you supposed to grieve that long? 22 years?
To this day!
That guy is emotional. You know, Deontay Wilder. The far-left females at the Skim reported on Sunday, following the end of the G20 summit in New Delhi, India. Is it New Delhi? New Delhi, I guess. India, D-E-L-H-I. Why is it New Delhi? New Delhi. So-called President Sleepy Joe Biden travels to Alaska. So I guess he's in Alaska today. Already, maybe? Or already come and gone to Alaska to mark the 22nd anniversary of the terror attacks on September 11th, blah, blah, blah. With members of the military and their families. Vice President cackling Kamala Harris was to participate in the commemoration ceremony at the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City. They make a museum out of it. I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting. And First Lady Jill Biden scheduled to lay a wreath at the National 9/11 Pentagon Memorial, which is somewhere else, right? So my 9/11 story, I told you about I was in college. I had shin splints, actually, but I was still running. One class in particular was canceled when I went to college, commuted to college, the Christian college, and one of the art teachers was like, he was all, we can't have class today. So he canceled class and we got out. Nice. What day of the week was that? Does anybody remember? Somebody tell me what day of the week that was. But cross-country practice was not canceled because the coach said, if we stop our lives, they win. Which I don't quite get that. But yeah, why? We're in California. We're not affected by it. Give me a break. I remember thinking that I should feel guilty for not feeling bad because I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel anything about it. I wonder how many people were like me. There was one gal whom I was talking to, also didn't feel anything, and she was from PA. She didn't feel anything about it either. I remember Stavesacre. Remember I've been playing that manly music from Stavesacre? They released a song, a free download of their song Gold and Silver. That's the collective album version from 2001, I think, with the piano and the female vocals, all nice. Those liberal, emotional people. Shout out to based, gay, pro-Trump, rhino, liar, George Santos, who once reportedly said, I lost my mother to 9/11. I'm laughing because she died 15 years later and he lies a lot as a politician to get in office. He's like this white Hispanic, kind of fat, divorced, turned gay. I disavow that. But she died 15 years later. I wonder if she's inhaled some smoke or dust or something. Anyway, shout out to former Saturday Night Live comedian, Kim K. young boyfriend, Pete Davidson. Stalked by Ye, who actually reportedly lost his firefighter father in the 9/11 thing. Pete Davidson, what a mess. It was Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, 7:14 a.m. Eastern Time. Well, I didn't hear about it until couple hours later at least. It would have been at the earliest 6:30, at the latest 7:30 that I knew about it. Thank you, spoiler alert. Tuesday. What did I have on Tuesdays? Anyway. 22 years ago, I was in college. Can you believe it? Whoa. Shout out to the Department of Homeland Security that W. Bush and the Republicans and the demon rats established, right? Wasn't DHS, Department of so-called Homeland Security, established? Which, as the libertarians, the Ron Paul types, the Alex Jones types, my competitor now, and the whites said is going to be weaponized and is weaponized against real Americans and independent thinkers and reporters. The Department of Homeland Security doesn't even Shout out to Iraq and Afghanistan, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda. Shout out to ISIS, whose precursor did the Benghazi terror attacks that killed the Americans under Obama and Hillary's watch. Terrible things going on in the world. Speaking of terrible things, Elon Musk, based, and I use the term loosely, Elon Musk. Clip 14, Cernovich tweeted out that Jake Tapper is trying to incite violence against Elon Musk. That's Cernovich is a center-left, America-loving man and journalist and documentary filmmaker and author. Been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, The Fallen State, men's conferences. He shares a video from Tom S. Elliott. Tom S. Elliott, CNN's Jake Tapper to Anthony Blinken. No H in Anthony. Antony Blinken is the Secretary of State. What a joke. Not a Christian, I don't think. This is a 3-minute clip. He says, should there be repercussions for that capricious billionaire? Capricious, he pronounces it. Is it capricious or capricious? Don't rely on Hake's pronunciations. Don't rely on Hake's pronunciation. I mispronounce things. We'll get to that, hopefully. Elon Musk for not offering assistance to a Ukraine military operation. Because I think Elon Musk is giving free internet to the whole Ukraine, right? Isn't he giving them free internet through Starlink? Is that what Starlink is? Like these satellites flying around in space, which is real and morally straight, right? And it's helping Ukraine, but he blocked them access to the Starlink to do some crazy thing that he didn't agree with, right? He thought that would be, well, they'll explain it in the clip. He thought that they would kind of provoke nuclear war, something. So he didn't agree with this thing. So he pulled his. Isn't it free? Isn't he doing it for free? Elon is amazing, says R. Galunas. Am I mispronouncing your name, man? Here it is. 3 minutes. Jake Tapper of CNN, Call Me Nonsense Network. Not a Christian, by the way. I used to think of him as somewhat fair-minded. I still kind of do, honestly. For an unchristian person, you know? For a liberal reporter. He once dated. I shouldn't get carried away with that. Here it is. Watch the clip.
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has recently confirmed a report that's in Walter Isaacson's new biography of Musk that last year Musk blocked access to his Starlink satellite network in Crimea in order to disrupt a major Ukrainian attack on the Russian Navy there. In other words, Musk effectively sabotaged a military operation by Ukraine, a U.S. ally, against Russia, an aggressor country that invaded a U.S. ally. Should there be repercussions for that?
Jake, I can't speak to a specific episode. Here's what I can tell you. Starlink has been a vital tool for the Ukrainians to be able to communicate with each other, and particularly for the military to communicate in their effort to defend all of Ukraine's territory. It remains so, and I would expect it to continue to be critical to their efforts. So what we would hope and expect is that that technology will remain fully available to the Ukrainians. It is vital to what they're doing.
I don't know that you can't speak to it. You won't speak to it. Musk says he was reportedly afraid that Russia would retaliate with nuclear weapons. Musk says that's based on his private discussions he had with senior Russian officials. Are you concerned that Musk is apparently conducting his own diplomatic outreach to the Russian government? Really, none of this concerns you?
Jake, I can't speak to conversations that may or may not have happened. I don't know. I'm focused on the fact that the technology itself, Starlink, has been really important to the Ukrainians. It remains so. And it should continue to be part of what they're able to call on to be able to communicate with themselves, and again, to have the military be able to communicate. Throughout this Russian aggression, we ourselves have always had to factor in what Russia may do in response to any given thing that we or others do or the Ukrainians do, and we have. But what's so critical now is that Ukraine has had real success over the past year. I was just in Ukraine, as you know. The last time I was there was almost exactly a year ago. In that year, from the last time I was there till this week, the Ukrainians have retaken more than 50% of the territory seized by Russia since February of 2022. They're now engaged in a critical counteroffensive. And we're doing everything we can to maximize our support for them, along with many other countries, so that they can be successful. Starlink is an important part of their success, and as I said, we expect that it will continue to be so.
It sounds like Starlink's so important the U.S. government doesn't want to risk offending a capricious billionaire who did some things that I think in another situation the U.S. government might want to say something about. But let's move on.
Is he wrong? Is Jake Tapper wrong? Elon stopped World War III, says Kid Combo 1. Capricious. Capricious is kind of a cool word because it sounds so good. It sounds cool. It sounds positive. Ever heard of Capri Suns? Capri pants? They're not for men, I don't think. Except for Huckleberry Finn. I like them on Huckleberry Finn. They're all ripped. It's a cool style. But there aren't. What's the difference between a capricious billionaire doing what he has a right to do or not to do, right? Giving free internet or whatever to Ukraine, and then not giving it when it's some evil thing that Ukraine's about to do. Because isn't there violence on many sides? Isn't there violence on many sides? What a mess. Is like the UN. Whom do you trust more? Capricious, and he's pretty liberal too, by the way. Elon Musk, or capricious, subversive mainstream media and evil government. I don't know. At this point, I think I kind of side with Elon Musk on that one. He seems a little more honest than either of those two guys on the screen, Anthony Blinken or what's his name, Jake Tapper. Capricious. I was thinking Capri Sun too. Yeah. But capricious means on a whim, like some of the gods, some of the false gods from like the Greeks or whatever, were very capricious. They would sometimes lash out at you. They would change their mind, and you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know what they were going to do next. Some might call it unpredictable. Trump likes to be unpredictable. Kevin says, everything Ukraine does is evil. While their children are being kidnapped, citizens being bombed in daylight at a market, SMH. So I guess he's being sarcastic because he's kind of he's a pro-Ukraine guy, or is a anti-Russia guy. I don't know what he is. Capri is an Italian island, Hake. Oh. Last quick thing about Elon Musk, because I want to get it in. The ADL is helping. Speaking of unchristian people. Elon Musk avows this analysis. I got this tip from Asador last week in my super chats. Elon Musk, quote, tweeted Mario Nawfal analysis on the ADL. And I do like this clip. Clip 52 shared by Mario Nawfal, Nawfal, along with his long analysis. And this, clip 52, you see it in there, is an edit of portions of Jonathan Greenblatt's CNBC interview about, this is switching from Ukraine to X, more immediately pertinent to the United States, right? At least in my mind. To us, we the people, to us the people. CNBC interview about pretending that they're making the platforms better by kicking the whites off of them. Are they or are they not? 2.5 minute clip. Here it is. Enjoy.
Brands are big boys and girls. They will make their own decisions. I mean, let's be clear here. Like, this is the wealthiest man in the world running one of the most powerful media platforms on the planet. We're a nonprofit here in New York. So I think figuring out like who has the power in this relationship is pretty clear to me.
Fundamentally believe that Elon Musk is anti-Semitic?
I have never said Elon Musk is anti-Semitic. I've been on this show and said that I didn't think he was anti-Semitic. And I don't think Twitter as a platform is anti-Semitic. And as we've said here, hate speech is the price of free speech. But let's acknowledge that when Elon Musk and the platform bring people, hardened anti-Semites back on, when they validate their rantings, when they algorithmically amplify them and allow it to spread.
How out there are you, publicly and behind the scenes, talking to advertisers and telling them do not advertise on this platform? Are you doing that?
We are not out there publicly or privately talking to advertisers. Frankly, it's true we did call for a pause back in November after the acquisition. And then since then, since that initial statement, what we are doing is engaging with the management of the company, trying to help them make it better.
A question, because I know this has been a critique of your organization and of many. Were you seeking to have some kind of either role at Twitter or any kind of donations made or other things?
No.
I only say that because there have been folks who looked at these situations and felt that they were being shaken down.
Look, I think, let me be honest about that.
I covered this part.
I think it is sort of anti-Semitic trope to suggest when Jewish people express a degree of outrage over anti-Semitism, that somehow that's a shakedown because Jews are greedy. That sounds to me.
I'm not
saying
Jewish,
you believe
I'm not even
that.
trying to. I'm just saying that is the critique. Occasionally, you hear the critique
this is the part I played.
Among not-for-profits in certain cases that are involved in certain causes that talk to companies, and you hear it from leaders who say, "I feel like
I hear that." So what we've tried to do over the years with Twitter, with YouTube, with Facebook and all of its platforms, with Reddit, with Discord, I could go on, is to work with them to make those platforms better.
To make them better. He wants to make them better. Is ADL making those platforms better? Have they made them better? Is that Mr. Clean, Hake? He doesn't exactly look like Mr. Clean. Lex Luthor looks a little bit more like Mr. Clean. At once, Joker told Lex Luthor, "Oh, you'll be Mr. Clean, I promise." And Lex Luthor had his arms crossed like Mr. Clean does. But now they turn Mr. Clean all like a male stripper type of a guy in those newfangled cartoons. Like, it's a cartoon man dancing like a goofy person. I don't want to say that word without the Y because out of sensitivity to the Canadians, Hake is very sensitive to the Canadians, to the UK people, to the censors. Is censors a good word for people who censor? Yeah, and then so it's like a live action woman and a cartoon man, and the man is like helping her clean. Ugh. Mr. Clean used to look sort of manly, but anyway, that's unrelated to this issue. Well, is Jonathan Greenblatt Mr. Clean for these platforms? Big boys and girls taking care of themselves? Oh, Elon Musk has the power in this relationship. Somebody points out in the chat that ADL is a very powerful lobby group. Yeah, I think that they have somebody in this. Mario Nawfal says that, first of all, that it's false that Elon brought an amplified so-called and he gives the hyphen, so-called Semitism and hate speech back to the. Somebody asked, what is Semitism? Fair question. Back onto the platform, they said, no, it's not true, actually. And although some people did come back to the platform, that's nice. Although some of them got kicked off again. Shameful. He called it he called that trope word, which I covered already, the trope word about greedy Jewish people. I covered that last week, I think. Yes, they did publicly call for a Semites are Arabs and Jews, descendants of Shem. True, we did call for a pause so that if it remains, he said in a previous interview that if Twitter or X remains a hellscape, the advertisers won't take part or they won't support it. Oh, so he did kind of talk about defunding Twitter, de-advertising them, going after the advertisers as the communists, or the unchristian people do. And some Christians do that too, right? Greenblatt said the ADL is a small nonprofit in New York. Did he say small? Not true. The ADL is an influential organization with over 100 years of history. 2021 tax filings show that their revenue was $101 million with a balance sheet of $238 million. They also received millions of dollars from indirect government funding via grants to groups in which the ADL has special interests in those groups. Greenblatt says the ADL works. This is from that's Mario Nawfal. He did a sort of a long. Nowadays, you can do these long tweets, basically like a miniature blog post, or sometimes not that miniature. ADL works with other social media platforms. Facebook. We saw in Politico article that Elon Musk posted that the ADL indirectly controls, and Politico is a pretty far left, unchristian outlet, mainstream media outlet. Ooh, it is getting chilly. They control indirectly what can be posted on Facebook. Greenblatt claimed he didn't know what prompted Elon's tweets, but Elon was clear it was prompted from the 60% drop in advertising from ADL's interference, which Greenblatt admitted in the video. Doesn't seem like the meeting with ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino went as well as Greenblatt is making it out to be, and Linda Yaccarino, just like Elon Musk, kiss up to the phony notion of anti-Semitism. Just not enough for their taste. Terrible. So I'm going to read your chats, guys, and you can call in if you like. Get to that tattooed soccer woman, hopefully. The kiss. The based kisser has resigned. But it's past time for some music. We're past the top of the hour. Oh, Lord. And I will get to your super chats too, guys. Without further ado, this is Better Change Your Mind by William Onyeabor from 1978. Re-released in 2005 or so from World Psychedelic Classics, Volume 5 or something like that. Love is a Real Thing. It's West African. I hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. I'll be back to talk you through it. It's like 8 minutes long, so maybe I'll be reading chat during it. Here it is.
America, do you ever think this world is yours? Eh? And you, Russia, yeah, do you ever think this world is yours? You, China, do you ever think this world is yours? And you, Cuba, yeah, do you ever think this world is yours? Canada, do you ever think this world is yours? And you, Britain, yeah, do you ever think this world is yours? If you're thinking so, my friends, better change your mind. If you're thinking so, my friends, better change your mind. Because there's no the one except God who owns this world.
Views dropping by the second, says Lord Baby 42. William Onyeabor. Doors wannabe. Keyboard solo. So good. So nice. Do you hear it? You hear that? You hear that bass? The world is happening. So nice. You know, in Mexico, some judge told the governor and the state of Texas to remove the buoys. Are they buoys or buoys? I don't know. I don't even know. Does it matter? Or is it both? Could it be both? Buoy or buoy? Is it buoy or buoy? People were making fun of me after I read that last week in Hake News. Man, isn't that nice? Learn how to talk, Hake. Bowie. Buoy rhymes with Jewy. Jim Bowie. Terrible. You know what else happened last week? Danny Masterson. I never watched that 70s show. Speaking of 70s. But he was convicted of rape and sentenced to 30 years. Did he actually do that? I don't know. People said that he was just accused. But how can you be convicted if you're just accused? I don't even know. Oh, and I called it R-word. Don't I just about R-wording. This is cool. Can you guys hear me? Over the chat, press 1 if you can hear me. Keep this music going the whole show. Hey, sounded like spoken word over this beat. 1. Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so don't be R-wording. No raping. Do not rape. Oh, by the way. So Danny Masterson might have gotten railroaded. Chin up, King. 30 years. The men getting railroaded. Not the first man to get railroaded. 2? What's 2? You can't hear me? 2? I'm too loud, or the music's too loud? It's not over yet. It comes back. Those psychedelic songs. They're too long. The Doors and all them. Is the Doors even psychedelic? 1, sounds good. There's a tennis girl who,
Are you Francis?
Francis! You ever think this world is yours? Huh?
Are you rich man?
Rich man?
Hey, yeah. Do you ever think this world is yours?
I like this so good. Listen to this part.
You white man. Do you ever think this world is yours?
Hey, this guy's May's been listening to this guy.
Are you black man?
Black man.
Hey, yeah. Do you ever think this world is yours?
Hey, yeah.
Leaders. Do you ever think this world is yours?
Huh? Good 9/11 song, right?
President. Yeah, do you ever think this world is yours?
Hey, none of us are high enough for this jive. If you're thinking so, my friends,
Better change your mind.
better change your mind.
If you're thinking so, my friends, better change your mind.
I like this. This is the moral of the story.
Because there's no other one except God.
God.
Who owns this world.
God who owns this world. There's no other one except God who owns this world. Take that, Ukraine, Globo, Homo, NATO, Russia. Yes, Russia. I said Russia. You happy? Kevin Howe. China. America. So good. Those keyboards are off the charts. This is the most fire song Hake has ever played, I think. Thank you, John Frederick. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through the beautiful music. My opinion, beautiful. Have the viewers stopped dropping? Terrible. I got to read some super chats that have come in over on Streamlabs. Gregatron gave an embarrassing, for me, super chat. He's not embarrassed. Gregatron is unembarrassable. Hake, I have an idea for your show. Every week you should have a mildly attractive hour. Like how JLP does Manhood Hour. I'm going to do a whole mildly attractive hour. We celebrate and cherish the beautiful ladies. And he says, I cherish Ivana Spencer, Wandaline P., and Lady Becca. Oh, Gregatron. That's nice. That's nice. But how do you know they're beautiful? Yeah, every woman is beautiful. There you go. Nice. I appreciate your idea. All ideas are lies. Get rid of all ideas, JLP says. I avow that statement. But thank you, Gregatron. I still need to come up with mildly attractive merch. Elias Leal bought 5 coffees. 7 blacks cast out of heaven got scared of your show. Bro, what the? Play Korkus Children of Sun. Korkus Children of Sun. That might be a song. I myself am a musical Philistine, so I am not familiar. Korkus spelled with a K. Korkus. Hopefully it's not something dirty, but I don't think that... I don't know, Elias Leal sometimes says edgy things. That is Fuzz Jams, says Renee. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you talking about the blacks who called into my show? They fell from heaven? Interesting. I did see, indeed, there were a couple of coffees in on Ko-fi, and I thank you for those hidden coffees, Ko-fis. Spoiler alert, appreciate those, man. Oh, I should read the one from Spoiler Alert, because he didn't say that it wasn't for reading aloud. Said, this was from last week, that Lin Yun Chin, and it's sort of obsolete now because it's already expired. Lin Yun Chin was banned from the chat for saying, spoiler alert, don't time me out for my freedom of expression. Go time out your mother. After calling other people names and using the word SH blank blank a lot. He can come back tomorrow if he wants, which he did. Well, he was unbanned anyway. Unbanned after the show, which I did. So, and thank you for the heads up on the Ko-fi. You can send private Ko-fi chats as well as private Buy Me a Coffee chats. You can check a box that says, make this message private. And then I will see it, but the public will not see it. That's on Buy Me a Coffee as well as Ko-fi. So thank you. Appreciate that. Over on, yeah, so that's a solid ban, Lin Yun Chin, but Lin Yun Chin couldn't see Spoiler Alert's chats because he blocked him. So that's what was going on. A little bit of chat drama. Lin Yun Chin, man, I think you were getting excited. Maybe you're excited. Maybe you're on a little trip there. But appreciate you, man. You are unbanned. You're free. I think you might be there. Might be in the chat. Not sure. I totally appreciate, spoiler alert, my chief and best mod. And shout out to the other lesser mods. You guys are lesser mods, but I appreciate you irregardless, which is not a word. And I have not heard myself say that. And so I might never say it again were I to hear myself say it. GJ on paw with a diamond. Jeezy been hate watching for 6 months. Hashtag losing. And who is that? Oh, I think I know who that is. He stopped, though. He stopped, according to him, which I don't believe a word that guy says, because I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And then they talk to you again. Just like a woman. But thank you, DJ Onpaw. That's who you were talking about. I now understand. Cool. Okay. Nice. A little couple more chats from the about the ADL. There were a couple of chats in the ADL when we were covering it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Kevin Howe. What's up, Kevin Howe? He said the ADL are anti-Semitic Nazis. LOL, lots of laughs. WT blank. Is this InfoWars tier disinformation? LOL, lots of laughs. Hat tip to the late, great Colin Flaherty, who translated LOL to lots of laughs rather than laughing out loud. Who said that, Kevin Howe? You seem to straw man a lot. You seem not to comprehend right statements. Nugget Man said ADL is against Israel and the Jews. Clown face emoji, clown face emoji, clown face emoji. Yes, I did unban Karen Williams. Spoiler alert. I think you told me I could go ahead and do it. I think I did unban her. But isn't that true? Okay, so my exact words were on the Jesse Lee Peterson show that ADL is the enemies of Jews and America, or Jewish people and America, because you're not supposed to say Jews. Is that not true? Press 1 for true, 2 for not true, 3 for, yeah, it's true. It's kind of a lame point, Hake. 3 for lame, or 4 for don't know, don't care. 5 for move on right now. But if you can't see that the so-called Anti-Defamation League is the enemy of the people whom they pretend like they're representing in their imaginations, in their mama imaginations, they're protecting the Jewish people. If you can't see that they're the enemy of the people they're pretending to protect, then you might also mistakenly think that the black identity politics has been a benefit to the blacks, which it clearly hasn't. Is there anything good about the ADL for anyone? Because good is objective, and good for anyone is maybe a little bit subjective, I guess. 3 for kind of lame point, says Parody Bear. 5 says move on. I forget what 5 was. But is there... Okay, so I can acknowledge something somewhat good about the ADL. Is I go on there and I learn about hate numbers. It can be edumamicational. And I like a little bit of edumamication. So I like that. Yeah, I unbanned you too, Tyrone. Or one of your accounts, Tyler. I actually did. Nice. I unbanned you. No, Hake, good is subjective. I'll get you next time, Iseni Norfolk. I don't think that I do appreciate that the liars and deceivers who are more, if you will, high verbal IQ, like to stick to facts, and then they go into speculation and false judgment, right? Of course. But some of the facts are accurate. Most of the facts, I think, are accurate. the younger whippersnappers are more loosey-goosey with the facts. And the blacks, liberals, are loosey-goosey with the facts. Even the black well, anyway, won't get into that. Women don't care about the facts. But that is one appreciable aspect of SPLC and ADL that I like. That you can go there and learn about people and their mess. Who banned Tyrone? Oh, Tyrone's been banned for like a couple of years, and I don't even know who banned him. Yeah, truth is not subjective, nor is good. I agree with you, man, Lord Spike Protein. So I think that you guys are being dense with this thing. And by the way, poor Danny Masterson. I don't know if he's a Christian. I don't know if he's a normal white. I do know that I don't know if he's a man, but I know he's a male. Man enough to be hated. Man enough to be hated. You know, the one who was sentenced for 30 years for supposed rape. 2 rapes. 2 R words. Apes. From 20 years ago or more. Whew. One last quick other point that I wanted to get to for the benefit of evil is real. My caller, CJ from Texas. Kale, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever he called into my show and talked about the Filipina girlfriend, Kale says Filipinos, I call them Filipinas, because AS makes them female, love white men with money. Whoa. Not saying necessarily that has to do with his girlfriend, necessarily, but be warned. And also, I was warned about a Filipina one time. My friend is, be careful. It's a Chinese friend, right? Be careful, she's Filipina. Or Filipino, whatever. Meaning, even the Asians warn about the Filipinos. I don't know what that means exactly. And then Lay Wendy, because this Filipina girlfriend was a Mormon. I grew up Mormon, says Lay Wendy on Rumble. It's all an illusion. Behind closed doors, it is hell. Indeed, the one Mormon that I knew and my coworker at my previous job, although he was tough and forceful and somewhat of a family man, even though he sort of blended his family, he married a woman who already had kids. He was a little bit of a heavy set guy. I say a little bit. He was fat. Shout out to the fat people. But he was a beta. I remember he even asked me for money. Terrible. And people who ask for money, they don't give it back. Or do they? So that's sort of beta. So yes, even though they have the right physical values of family, marriage, men leading, and God and Church of Jesus Christ and stuff like that, morality, used to be against the blacks. Now they're all kissing up to the blacks. I don't know, man. Even the Mormons are falling off. Terrible. Okay, let's get to this tattooed woman's pressing charges over the kiss. And worse, the update from Sunday, the 10th of September, yesterday, 2023 AD, the kisser man resigned. Luis Rubiales resigns. I have this in the folder. A bunch of headlines and pictures and stuff like that. The update. Luis Rubiales, R-U-B, B grande, resigns as Spanish soccer president amid the kiss controversy. There he is. Look at that man. Based kisser. He grabbed her head and kissed that head. On the lips, though. But that's Spaniardly. Right? His departure follows a week of fierce criticism for a supposedly unwanted kiss. Maybe American Anchor Baby has the real story on that, or the controversy on whether that was unwanted or not. On the World Cup winner, Jennifer Hermoso. And I have for weeks, Rubiales, this man, rejected calls to resign after he forcibly, I don't know if it was forcible, because forcible reminds me of forcible R word. Ape? Forcible rape? They used to call it forcible rape. And now they dropped that term because, you could drug them and then it doesn't have to be all that much force, Something like that. Terrible. I disavow that. But yesterday, there it is. Nice. Thank you. My trusty sidekick, Hassan over here. Wow, Hassan. Walking on Water Hassan on YouTube on Wednesdays, right? Wednesdays at 11. He's finding these pictures in my folder here. He's grabbing the head and kissed her on the lips. He announced in a Piers Morgan interview. Piers Morgan, the anti-Second Amendment guy on Fox News and Daily Mail writer guy. UK far-left foreign man. Sometimes hit and miss on things. Liberal. Kicked JLP off his show. Look at him. Luis Rubiales. Why am I saying it sort of Italian? For weeks, he's rejected calls to resign after he forcefully, let's call it forcefully. He's a forceful, manly kiss. And I don't know if I avow or disavow this kiss. I mean, I'm not for kissing that much. Spain's star player, Jenny, Jenni, or is it Jenny? Jenny? How do you pronounce it? Hermoso. At the Women's World Cup final. Now, after weeks of pressure and a formal sexual assault complaint, they're calling that sexual assault. Sexual assault sounds so bad. And what he did might have been a little bad, I don't know. Maybe. But to call that sexual assault, what? I think that they might have called it sexual aggression. Even that. Like, it's a kiss. A kiss is not always sexual. Anyway. Not that you should be doing it. I get you, Karen Williams. She makes a good point that kissing builds the fallen... I'm trying to word it in a diplomatic way. The fallen state inflaming of the passions to want the S word. So I get that, okay. But that one was more like, it was passion, but excitement over winning the World Cup. Huh. Oh, turn up the thermostat 1 degree, please. Because it's getting a touch chilly in here. So-called sexual assault complaint says he can't continue his work and that his family has suffered the effects of persecution excessively, as well as many falsehoods, he said. So he's resigning. And there's that gal. And people, the mainstream media is calling it unwanted. Is it unwanted after the fact or unwanted before, or unwanted quite how he grabbed the back of her head? That's not the worst thing you can grab during a kiss, right? So anyway. So last Wednesday, prosecutors said the Spanish soccer player Jenni Hermoso filed a complaint against Luis Rubiales for so-called sexual assault days after prosecutors opened an investigation into Rubiales for planting that supposedly unwanted kiss on Hermoso, part of a broader reckoning. Communist buzzword. Look at that gal. I'm going to read about this soccer player women. I'm going to read about that. I will get to it. That's part of my point in bringing this story to you guys. Otherwise mildly attractive gals playing soccer or these sports, basketball too. It seems to make them sort of mannish, not ladylike and feminine. The complaint comes days after they open the investigation, blah, blah, blah. Broader reckoning, communist buzzword, euphemism for bloodthirsty anti-man witch hunt reckoning. They called Black Lives Matter riots a racial reckoning. So reckoning is a anti-white, anti-man, anti-Christian, very un-Christian, very female-minded, satanic female-minded, right? Satanic mind in possessing the female mind in both males and females. Lynch mob of males and whites and cops and whoever else, independent thinkers, over sexual harassment in Spain's women's soccer league, including a firing this past week of the team's coach. The latest, quote unquote, from the New York Slimes. Hat tip Mark Levin, he called them New York Slimes. The failing New York Times, as Trump called them. On, I guess last week, released a report highlighting dozens of alleged instances of verbal abuse. Verbal abuse. Just show, I don't know if you can show, is there a picture of this Jorge Vilda? Is there like a picture of both the man and the other man? I'm not sure. Because this part is, oh, there. Those are the two guys in question. So the bald one is the one who kissed, supposedly unwantedly. And then this man is the coach who brought the Spanish, I'm spitting a little bit, let me calm down, who brought the Spanish women's team to the Women's World Cup winners. He made the team win. Jorge Vilda, Spain's recently fired national coach. And Luis Rubiales, president of the Spanish Soccer Federation, got rid of both of these men and replacing them with women or something like that. We'll see. The New York Slimes did a report highlighting Mama Spirit New York Times meddling in the affairs of other countries' business, right? Didn't they do some false story about the Holodomor to kiss up to communism way back decades ago? Something like that. New York Slimes. Bunch of liberals. Didn't they do that thing, that false report on my favorite congressman, former Congressman Steve King, making him seem like a white supremacist or whatever? Give me a break. And the rhinos ousted him over that? Stupid. Don't say stupid too much, kids. Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse. And sexism. No such thing on the team. So they're propagandists. New York Times propagandists on this Spanish team. Including accounts that say women got bedtime checks, whatever that means, not sure, and were constantly monitored when together. Okay. All right, whatever. The players are demanding higher wages, of course. These female players, higher wages. Oh, do I have any pictures of like these other women's teams like supporting Jenny and all that stuff? Women. It's all about the woman stuff. Kiss up to women stuff. Oh, estamos contigo, Jenny. Estamos contigo, Jenny. Jenny. Is it Jenny? Jenny. Look at these dumb teams. Oh, they made a whole banner over it. Embarrassing. Look at contigo, Jennifer Hermoso. Hashtag. Are those guys or girls? Those two look like guys. I'm far away. I can't see. And then there's another one where these males are wearing this se acabó. And these female, oh look, grown adult males playing soccer, which is fine, right? And then they're wearing their jerseys say, "Se acabó," he's finished, or it's over, or something like that. I don't know. Which is kissing up after this guy kissed the gal. So they whipped up these jerseys right quick, didn't they? These female players want higher wages. They want maternity, leave, which I think they just mean maternity leave, so they can become mothers and have maternity leave, whatever that means, and other benefits. Women are, go back to like women, or like, I don't know. Is that the team? Might be the Spanish soccer team themselves. Spaniard soccer team themselves. No, that one was good. The one where they're all in a circle together. Look at that. That's the New York Times article, huh? They want higher wage. They want money, and they want less work, maternity leave, and benefits. Women are always, these so-called working women, always want more money and trying to finagle ways not to work. Isn't that true? Bedtime check-ins and verbal abuse. Women's life in Spanish soccer. That's the New York Slimes article. Supporters are cheering them on from the rally and cry, "Se acabó. Acabó. It's over." Or he's finished. So, anyway, go back to the two men. Jorge Vilda, the winning coach for Spain's soccer team. He got hit, according to the ladies at the Skim last Wednesday, with the reckoning ball. Reckoning ball. Like wrecking ball? Reckoning ball. The move comes amid controversy. He was the coach for the Spain's women's soccer team, so he brought them to win. And how do they reward him? Firing him. The move comes amid controversy. Usually controversy as stated by the mainstream media means liberals overreacting to something that's heading in the direction of reasonable. Okay? Controversial bill about transgenders in the wrong bathrooms or something like that, right? Controversial. Over the country's soccer federation president, Luis Rubiales' allegedly unwanted kiss after the La Roja is the name of that women's team. World Cup win. World Cup winning women's coach. Based Jorge Vilda. I use the term based without even knowing a thing about this man. Coach had been plagued with complaints of sexism from players. No such thing as sexism. After he was hired in 2015. Had you heard about the women's Spanish soccer team in 2015? Or did he build them up after several years to win the Women's World Cup? Whatever that even means, to win the Women's World Cup. Is that hard? I don't know. Now, female assistant coach Week Montse Tomé will replace based coach Vilda, becoming the first woman to hold the position in the Spanish team's history. Yes, the team is history. His team is history now. Men's History Month is over, so these guys are history. The corrupt Spanish Soccer Federation, or Fútbol, did not give a reason for based coach Vilda's firing. Vilda's firing. Vildas. Whatever. But said it was one of the first measures of renewal. They called it the first measures of renewal. Where's my spittoon? Renewal into hell. Amid international fake outrage over the bald guy's kiss, his actions. It was just one action. Singular. And it's nobody's business. All the people outraged on her behalf. Give me a break. That's a good ending for that story. Speaking of women working, quote unquote working, I saw this in Pocket last week or so. And The Cut. Let me see if I have this in the folder. Pocket. Yeah. Pocket crap folder. Don't say crap, kids. That's just what I called it. I didn't know what to call it. Coworkers, kids. The Cut has this article from September 5th, 2023 AD. Allison Green, The Cut's workplace advice columnist, shares this complaint headline. Somebody wrote into her complaining, apparently. I'm sick of covering for my coworkers who have kids. You know, women working and complaining about working. They wanted to work, now they're complaining about it, and so many of them started working that people started to be able to afford more, so now prices are raised, so they have to work if they want to afford that stuff. And when they weren't working, they could afford it fine because the father working was fine. But now they have women and men working in marriages and not getting married and divorcing and all that mess. And so we have to have two incomes now. You don't have to, actually. But your colleagues' flexibility is coming at your expense rather than the company's expense is the subtitle for this headline. And show number 2, screenshot 2, career. The Cut is what, a woman thing? Their headlines are, or their categories are style, self, ooh, evil, culture, power. Whoa. This thing is called Ask a Boss, insightful and practical workplace advice from career expert Allison Green. Allison, not a man, a woman. Dear boss, I'm a little over 1 year in my job. My manager is great, so my coworkers are fine. And benefits are outstanding. The work-life balance is healthy. We're encouraged to take our PTO, planned time off, or paid time off, something like that, and have fulfilling lives outside of work. The owners take pride when employees get married, buy houses, have kids. And I'm happy to be a part of the company, blah, 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 cares about his employees, blah, 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 accomplished during the workday, blah, blah, blah. However, I'm the youngest person at my company. I don't plan on ever having children. Meanwhile, a good portion of my employees have joined the 3 Kids Club. And it's kind of a running joke in the company. And so they're basically complaining because, let me see. Because sometimes she has to fill in for these mothers who are working. Or maybe fathers who are working. Do the fathers ask for time off? Or do they not? My team consists of me, my manager, coworker. This year, both of them got pregnant and have back-to-back parental leaves. Out of the 15 months I've been here, 6 months have been spent holding down the fort during their parental leaves. That's not the problem. I'm glad we have a robust parental leave policy. Now I'm being asked to handle more after hours work events, when before they weren't my responsibility. We have 3 office locations, blah, 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 blah. Now that my coworker's back, I'm still being asked to cover events in her city because she can't find childcare. Silly women working. Most of these people are unsure about how to, let me see. Part of this, before I get to this part, Hassan, you're showing, yeah. This gal writes that this Allison Green woman says most of these people are unsure how to speak up because they feel weird about suggesting their kickball game should trump a coworker's childcare responsibilities. And yes, in a vacuum, if an emergency situation comes up that requires work coverage, it makes sense to consider the relative needs of the constraints of everyone involved. The kickball game might need to be what gets sacrificed. But if this becomes a pattern and employees without kids are consistently expected to do more than their colleagues who are parents, that's not okay. See, all these women, they find something that seems unfair and to complain about. A single kickball game might not seem like a big deal, but getting the same amount of time off as your coworkers and having your own life choices and commitments given the same amount of respect definitely is, says this gal. Okay, so now you can show that end of that article that you were showing, Hassan. Policies and practices that are that only consider the needs of parents who are so-called working, while leaving everyone else behind who's so-called working. Some of you guys right now are so-called working while listening to Hake. Hake himself is so-called working. pit parents and non-parents against each other. Didn't Jesus have like a little parable about this? About the parable of the so-called workers? I've said so-called a few too many times, maybe. Some of them were hired at the beginning of the day. Some of them were hired an hour before the end of the day, and they all got the same pay. And the ones who were hired at the beginning of the day were put in the back of the line. The ones who were hired at the end of the day were at the front of the line. And so the ones who were at the back of the line saw that they got the pay that they had agreed to, and were like, "Oh, maybe we'll get more pay." And then they got the same pay. And the guys all, don't I have the right to pay you what I want, pay you what I agreed, and do what I want with my money? But no, these jealous women, female-minded liberal males too, are all into, it's not fair. Want to know the private business of the other person's pay and work hours rather than just do your own work. Okay. Oh, listen to this. This is the real line. This is the whole reason that I wanted to cover this lame-o story. Pitting the parents and non-parent so-called workers, oops, I said so-called again, against each other conveniently shifts attention away from the employer's responsibility to make jobs sustainable and compatible with people's real lives, as well as from a government, women looking for the government that ignores its populace's need for affordable child care and paid sick leave. That's so evil. So evil. You're the mother. You're supposed to care, so-called care for your child at home. But that's another conversation altogether. For now, though, talking to your boss is your best option. The government's job is not to take care of your so-called child care. Those people are demonic most of the time who are taking care of your children. Of course, mothers are too, but that's beside the point. So show this Ask a Manager lady, Allison Green. There's a drawing of her, and she looks kind of mildly attractive, but then show the Twitter profile picture of her. This gal's not all them. I mean, she's redheaded, nice red hair. Kind of washed out, sort of a little heavy set. I'll show you a zoomed in profile pic. Number 6. Oof. Is that a normal white? I don't know. She's nice. She has a book, Ask a Manager. How to navigate clueless colleagues, lunch-stealing bosses, and other tricky situations at work. And it's obviously aimed at women. Show the book. Number 7 is the book. Doesn't that just look like it's written to it's written to women? Would you be caught holding the book that looks like that and actually reading it? I don't know. Maybe it has some insightful things. Oh, there's a funny tweet. Number 8, Hassan. This is a funny tweet from this gal. Funny as in obnoxious, makes me want to spit when women talk like this. Jane apparently messaged or posted to Ask a Manager on August 31st, this person. It's a screenshot, I guess. I literally cannot stop using corporate jargon in my everyday conversations. I'm constantly asking to circle back. That's what that adorable KJB says. I'm going to circle back with you. Was it KJB? KJP? Karine Jean-Pierre? The Biden woman? Or was that the red-haired woman? Circle back or put a pin in things. Ugh. Women talking all like they're professionals. Circle back. I hope that I don't hear a man talk about circle back or put a pin in things. And these women talking like they're such professionals. Some of them are pretty professional, but it's still cringy. And the other day, I asked my parents what their general availability was over the Christmas holiday. At least she's a Christian. Christians celebrate Christmas, right? You can't celebrate Christmas without being Christian, can you? What's your general availability? At least it's a young working woman, so it's understandable that she talks so messy. And she knows that it's wrong to be using this corporate jargon. Is it jargon or jargon? With her grandparents and normal people. She knows she's not normal. Jane, we're pulling for you. We're praying for you, Jane. What's your general availability? Terrible. All right. So, yeah, I hate that English. Don't hate, kids. Last thing, speaking of women, I've been meaning to get to this. Jean Carroll got a new haircut. Looking good. Jean Carroll is looking more sensible, but don't be fooled. She's not. She's the lady who told Anderson Cooper, I think most people think of the R word, rape, as sexy. Don't say that, kids. Think of the fantasies. You're fascinating to talk to. And he laughs. Reminder clip 16 from way back. Jean Carroll. She's the one who accused Trump. So don't hate, kids, but she's evil. She's adorable, to steal a word from Hassan. Here she is with her short hair and bleached hair. I think it's bleached or something. Jean Carroll talking to Anderson Cooper on CNN several years ago. 36 seconds. Hit it.
Victim.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Wasn't that good? Based Jean Carroll. She'd be more based if she didn't accuse Trump, right? Of course, obviously. I disavow her accusing Trump. Oh, man. You're fascinating. Is she not right? Another amusing clip, 53. I'm going to try to plow through this really fast. Amusing throwback. This was in reply to the Tucker Obama mess, okay? Tucker Obama mess. Tucker covered some mess with messy stuff over Obama. And so just following P3 says, whatever happened does not even matter. It's the Jean Carroll standard. They made the rules. Tucker's playing by them. So she says that it was empty. 16 seconds. Here it is.
On the whole floor, frankly. I think you go through bathing suits and cruisewear, and the store was not populated at the time. Nobody was there on the counter.
That's going to sound strange to people that nobody was in the...
Because Bergdorf's is the greatest store on the...
on the earth. Yeah, isn't she funny? Jean, not Gene. Oh, I have this pic from Trump's Truth Social. Let's see. Jean Carroll Trump update. Let's see. Trump, Jean Carroll Truth. He posted this back in May. I don't know Jean Carroll. Never met her or touched her except on a celebrity line with her African-American husband, who she disgustingly called the ape. Whoa. I wouldn't want to know her or touch her. I never abused her or raped her or took her to a dressing room 25 years ago in a crowded department store. Well, she says it was empty, where the doors are locked. She has no idea when or did anything else to her except deny her fake made-up story that she wrote in a book. It never happened. It is a total scam. Unfair trial, he said. Well, just for him saying that, see, look at her hair now. She almost looks sensible there with her big old black sunglasses. And she has sort of a lost look in her eye, too. A judge ruled, some lame-o judge, not a Christian, by the way, Kaplan, found Trump liable in a second E. Jean Carroll defamation case. Because, they accuse you of rape. You say this person is a liar. And then they sue you for defamation because you're defaming them. You're calling them a liar. Terrible. They can say whatever they want about you. I think he sued her for defamation too, but this judge says that he's liable for defamation against her, and that's why it was kind of in this story again. So here's the updated story. Clip 55. Should I even bother? MSLSD posted this last week's, September 6th. Just in, E. Jean Carroll wins a partial victory in her second defamation case against Donald Trump. A federal judge, not a Christian, has ruled a trial is needed to determine how much our greatest president must pay in damages. 44 seconds, clip 55. Check it out.
We've got some breaking news regarding writer E. Jean Carroll's new defamation suit against Trump.
That's right, Jose. A federal judge in New York today handing Donald Trump another defeat in this case, a second one, essentially saying that her second defamation lawsuit can go forward only in the damages phase because he's already ruled that Trump did defame her a second time with actual malice. And so the only question now is how much money Donald Trump is going to have to pay her. He's already been hit with a $5 million verdict in her first defamation case involving statements from 2022. These are statements that Trump made back in 2019 denying that he raped her. Now, the only question is how much money is Donald Trump going to have to pay E. Jean Carroll, Jose?
What a mess, huh? Terrible. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. What else is there? Is there anything else that was somewhat interesting? Oh, the rhinos were Republicans against Trump. Another major loss for Donald Trump. A judge ruled Trump is liable for defamatory statements. I can speak. Blah, blah, blah. Krasenstein. I'll skip the Krasenstein thing. Oh, real take from Byron York, though. Byron York. The judge in the E. Jean Carroll case against Trump has habitually misrepresented the results of the first trial. Now he's declared Trump guilty months before the second trial starts. Declared him guilty months before the second trial starts. 78-year-old Clinton judge Lewis Kaplan, not a Christian. Do I have any pictures of him? Oh, yeah, E. Jean Carroll 3. E. Jean Carroll 3. Last quick little thing. That's that guy. He's a Clinton judge. Clinton appointed him. Lewis, Lewis, Kaplan, Kaplan. And he's not a Christian. So, some very evil influences in the culture. Anyway, guys, I cannot get to your calls. Rick in Hampton, Virginia, wanted to talk about can Trump run in 2024 and 2028? I don't think so. But I cannot get to you. Oh, hey. Evil is Real has some super chats. Man, I'm going to have to read them tomorrow because I'm past time. Guys, enjoy. Ain't no monkeys in my family tree. Apologies, Evil is Real. My bag. I will read them tomorrow, man. Appreciate you. All right. By Knights of the New Crusade. Adios, America.
Well, there's monkeys in the jungle, there's monkeys in the zoo. They even got monkeys in some of our schools. They tell us that God didn't make the world in 7 days. They want us to believe that we evolved from the apes. Well, I don't know about them, but I know about me. And there ain't no monkeys in my family tree. The monkeys in the vines, and you'll see them up in trees. You can even see them right there on the TV. They claim that Jonah never lived in the belly of a whale. That our ancestors walked around dragging their tails. I don't know about them, but I know about me. There ain't no monkeys in my family tree. When you see some monkeys, they look kinda cute. But
Yes, they do.
when they're wearing a tie and a suit.
That's right.
Big book of lies and a fancy degree. Trying to make a monkey out of me. No, no, no.
So good. It's Christian. It's against evolution. It's not racist.
Well, some monkeys are honest and some monkeys are crooks. Some of those monkeys even write dishonest monkey books. They'll say that Jesus' miracles never did occur and that our ancestors were covered in fur. I don't know about them, but I know about me. And there ain't no monkeys in my family tree. No, there ain't no monkeys in my family tree.
Adios, America. Bye.